Greetings, peoples of the interwebs. Jake here, and welcome to another episode of the World Lore series, where, in this series of YouTube videos, I detail the various lore, mythologies, and information, pretty much anything regarding the fantasy world that I've created for the book series that I'm working on, The Priestess and the Paladin. So, the first four videos that I started with were character profiles on the four main leads of the book, The Priestess and the Paladin, followed up by the video on the dwarves, the Pantheon of the Dwarves, and then I followed that up with the video on the Gagosians, who are the humanoid lizard-like people, and then their mythology. So if you have not checked out those videos, go do that. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. So, figured I would then follow in with the Elves, as they're another standard fantasy race. So, without further ado, let's jump into this. The Elves originate from their island homeland of Avonvale, a country which is southeast of the Nullagian continent in the Numerian Ocean. There are many different types of Elves that inhabit Avonvale, and there are many overseas colonies that the Elves have established, such as the High Elves, Wood Elves, Sea Elves, River Elves, and Dark Elves. In appearance, all the Elves bear many similarities with one another, but have their own unique traits and physical features that differ from their kin. High Elves are amongst the tallest of the Elvish races, averaging around 5 feet and 10 inches tall, and commonly having golden hair and green or blue eyes. The High Elves specialize in the arcane arts, history, and enchanting. The High Elves dwell within the central and western coast of Avonvale, known as Cape Alaran, and are known as the Alarani amongst the other Elves. Wood Elves are the shortest of their kin, being 5 feet and 7 inches on average. The Wood Elves prefer to live in the dense forests and close to nature over the larger cities made of stone, like their Elvish kin. Wood Elves are the most skilled in archery, as they are trained at an early age to be able to hunt and provide for themselves, on top of being able to defend themselves against enemies. It is said that some Wood Elves have even been able to develop the means of communicating with animals due to their reverence of nature. The Wood Elves inhabit the eastern region of Avonvale, known as Cape Liloran, and also known as the Lilorani. River Elves are closely related to the Wood Elves and are believed to be an offshoot of the Wood Elves. In appearance, they are almost identical, sharing many of the same features, such as brown hair, being shorter than the other elves, and typically having hazel or green eyes. River Elves are simple folk who enjoy sailing down the many rivers and waterways, and are more laid back in comparison to the other elves. River Elves live within the fertile river valleys nestled between Cape Alaran and Cape Liloran in the south of Avonvale, called Cape Rimmeron. The River Elves are called the Rimmerani by themselves and the other elves. Sea Elves are similar to their High Elves and are believed to be an offshoot, much like the River Elves are an offshoot of the Wood Elves. Much like their Elvish kin, the Sea Elves are taller and more lean with very fair features. Their hair can range, however, from blonde to brown with different eye colors from greens, blues, and brown. The Sea Elves, living along the coastlines of Avonvale, grew up sailing the seas surrounding their homeland. Being such skilled sailors, the Sea Elves were first to set sails from Avonvale to explore new lands beyond the Numerian Ocean, where they would later establish colonies on the Nullagian continent. On the southwestern coast of Avonvale lies Cape Sileron, home to the Sea Elves, or Silurani in Elvish. The Sea Elves also possess an island chain known as the Ariadel Islands off their coast. Dark Elves are unlike their other elves. They are a more violent race of elves who enjoy to wage war with the others for supremacy over Avonvale. In appearance, the Dark Elves have silver hair, ashy gray skin, and yellow eyes. According to the other races of elves, their Dark Elf kin are cursed, for they sailed into the shadowed sea where they are forbidden to sail by the gods. When the Dark Elves returned from their supposed voyage, that is when their skin turned gray and became violent and hostile towards the other elves. It is believed that after sailing to the shadowed sea, the Dark Elves reached an entire continent shrouded in shadow, and that they became corrupted by this dark and foul land. Whether this take is true or not, there has been many wars and conflicts fought against the Dark Elves when they try to invade the other elvish realms of Avonvale. Cape Dalaran is located in the northwestern region of Avonvale and is home to the Dark Elves, or Dalarani in Elvish. So, that's the basic gist of the different Elvish races and some of their characteristics and traits. And much like the other videos, I'll probably do more detailed videos later on down the road, but I mostly just want to do the kind of basic gist of the different the different races, cultures, mythologies, all that stuff out of the way first, and then kind of do a deeper dive, more detailed videos about, the various topics. Um, after this, I will definitely follow it up with the Elvish Pantheon. But then after that, I'm actually kind of debating jumping into the geography, or at least of the current races that I've detailed so far. So the homeland of the dwarves, the homeland of the Gagosians, and the homeland of the elves. Before I do like some of the other races and cultures. But the other part of me is also wanting to go ahead and do the different, the other different races, cultures, their mythologies, and then do a whole separate series of videos about the geography of the different lands, countries, kingdoms, empires, and all that stuff in the fantasy world. So be curious to hear you all's take. So leave your comments below on what you would like to see next. Because I'm kind of debating which one I want to do after the Elvish Pantheon video, which will hopefully be out sometime next week at the time of this recording. Can't guarantee anything, just because my schedule's not been great lately. But hopefully you have enjoyed this video on the elves, and feel free to leave comments or any kind of feedback below in the comment section. Also, feel free to share this with friends, family, random strangers who you think might be into fantasy or could find this stuff entertaining in some form or fashion. It'll really help me out here at the channel and motivate me to try to record a bit more frequently. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up this video. I'll try to be a little bit better with uploading and recording content on a weekly to bi-weekly basis. But actually, now that I think about it, before I wrap up this video, so the last video that I recorded, I was mentioning that I have some of the different languages created, or at least the scripts for some of the different races, such as the dwarves, gnomes, elves, and the Gagosians. So I'm really excited about that. Evan helped me create the script for the elves and the Gagosians, so once again, shout out to him for helping with that. So that's probably another series of videos that I would like to do at some point once I get a little bit further with some of the different languages. It'll definitely start out with just the scripts, because as of right now, I really don't have a whole lot in terms of verbal words or phrases outside of very few basic stuff for the dwarves. A few things for the elves as well, some of which I mentioned here in this video, such as Caif. That is actually Elvish for kingdom or realm, and if it's a queendom, then it would be Caifa, so it would end in A. And there's a few other very few words that I have for Elvish, but not a whole lot. So in terms of verbal language or linguistics, that's something for way later down the road. But at some point I would like to kind of just show at least the written scripts that I have. Probably will tweak some of them, mostly the Dwarvish and Gnomish scripts a little bit before I start detailing those. But just, more stuff that I plan on doing here on the channel later on down the road. So if that stuff does take your fancy, and you're interested in that, leave your comments. And maybe if enough people are interested in that, then I'll make that the next series of videos that I do after I kind of detail some of the different races and cultures and stuff like that. And once more, before I do finally wrap this video up, R.R. Mendoza, the fantastic artist who has done the cover art for The Priest and the Paladin, along with the artwork for the four main leads, has a website which you can check out here. I will leave a link in the description below, so that way you can check out his website where you can see all of his amazing artwork displayed. So if you all, any of you listening to this here video, are interested in getting some artwork done for maybe a podcast, or maybe you're writing your own book, or maybe you just want to get a cool kick-ass picture to hang over your mantle in your home or apartment or whatever, go check out his website. And if you like what he does, which I don't see why you wouldn't, because it's great, then you can contact him and have him do some artwork for you. So yeah, that wraps up this video. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and again, like, comment, subscribe, share, all the typical YouTubey stuff. And until next time, everyone, cheers.